With regard to Nyumba Kumi, I am a firm believer that this is a very critical organ within our security architecture. The kind of requests that have been presented by this cadre are very modest actually, including 500 shillings for 2 meetings a week. That's 1,000 shillings a week. It can even be 2 meetings a month. And using the budget that is already available, we can cut down on non-core expenditure and make sure we deploy some of the resources to be able to appreciate this very critical cadre, which is at the bottom of the pyramid of our security architecture. With regard to community policing, Honorable Gikaria, I agree that there are a number of organized gangs in many of the urban centers in our country, with some form of permanence, organization, and command structure. And therefore, perhaps those are details we need to share so that we can, if there is a consistency and these elements exist in the people committing those crimes in Nakuru, we can be able to support you and the people of Nakuru to make sure that we get rid of these people. With regard to the last issue on cattle rustling, I agree with the Honorable Naisula. The Honorable Naisula speaks on behalf of about 67% of Kenya's territory, the Kenya of the North. The Kenya of the North includes the North Rift, Northeastern, parts of Tana River, and some parts of the coastal strip fall in that category. A territory that is largely facing very serious insecurity. And allow me just to address the issue of banditry in the North Rift. I have been instructed, subject to this approval process, to make sure that we deal with banditry once and for all in the North Rift. Therefore, what am I going to do? I'll not be sharing operational issues here, but one of the challenges we have is the lack of operational capability for our officers who are serving in those areas. I have requested for facilitation so that we are able to improve the existing capabilities both for air and land mobility, but also for protection of officers to ensure that they keep the peace there and deal with that issue. We will also have to invoke the provisions of the Constitution and the National Police Service Act to ensure that we actually energize the community policing program to make sure that we don't just rely on soldiers, on officers who are just posted there and they do not even understand this terrain, so that the community helps the officers to be able to track the criminals. And in the meantime, as we venture into that collaborative community policing initiative, in the meantime, you allow us to do what the law says should happen to criminals. And I would not want to say further than that for now, except that I am instructed to ensure that the banditry problem is resolved once and for all. I assure Kenyans, and I assure this committee, that I will make whatever sacrifices that are required to be made. I will stay focused until this problem is over, even if it means Honorable Naisula coming to live in the North Rift. Not for a week, not for a month. We will stay there as long as it is necessary, because, Honorable Speaker,